when you're in this job, you're sort of, you have to have Facebook, you have to have Instagram, you have to have Twitter to be relevant.
Do you feel like you need to project a different image on social media as an artist versus, the real Lucy?
I guess some people might feel like they have to. Personally, I wouldn't want to, because I would feel a bit like I'd be misguiding people. Whether if they stopped to talk to me in a rave, I'd rather they know what I was like more, rather than just projecting a sort of false version of me online. So there's times where I'll upload something and I'll think, to be honest, people aren't going to like this as much, but it's me, or whatever, So I don't feel the pressure to, but I can understand completely why people might.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all addicted to social media in some form or another. I actually went off Facebook at the beginning of the year, completely just deactivated my account, and that was really great. Then you just realize after a while that that's actually a channel that half the people in the business communicate on. So you're always going back in to some degree. But I do very much think that it's important to have some time away from all this stuff.
I do respect a lot the fail and the failure. I don't want to be a loser, of course, but I do think that when you fail and when you have failure, then it's the best thing to then move on. You tried something amazing, it didn't work this time, but you made it. And it's good to respect that too, and to get the energy from this.
But I do think that social media can have a positive impact as well. Particularly, one of the biggest challenges and stresses in the music industry is the social isolation that's caused from people traveling so much, spending so much time in hotel rooms. And used well, social media really can give you a sense of community when you're living out of a suitcase. So I think, like with all things, it's how you use it.
The more successful I am in my career, the happier I am, is a really... for me, I've discovered it's like the most beautiful myth that, like, in fact, in my experience, especially when I'm touring a lot, which is like doing the thing that I love to do around the world, and the most kind of quote-unquote successful I am in my career, the most unhappy I can get, because I start to, I guess, kind of put the cart before the horse.
There's times where I might be working too hard and losing a bit of inspiration. Maybe for a weekend, I might do a little ayahuasca retreat. Spend some time for me, spend some time for myself, regroup, find some center, because you're not going to last in this business if you let the party get the better of you.
If you think about yourself as an ecosystem with physical and psychological and emotional needs, and really the question to ask is, what do I need to be at my best while I'm traveling internationally? And that'll be very different for different people.
Here, it's about finding a balance for you.
So yeah, I just kind of do live a double life in the sense of I'll go to a club on a Friday and Saturday night, I'll get driven back by my tour manager, I'll sleep in the car. I'll be like the other day when I was playing a day party on the Saturday, I had a cup final the next day against QPR, and I was behind the decks DJing while trying to carb load, like eating pasta, while playing records.
I realized that we are living in a world like we try to control a world that we don't know how it works, we don't know how it's growing. But we all try to lose control in a world that we try to control. So I think it's very interesting. I think everybody needs to find what makes him good and makes him happy, to find the right equilibrium, the right balance. That's the main thing. It can be the family, it can be in sport, it can be like, for me the main thing is to be interconnected with people. That's my surrounding, and that's how I feel it's very grateful for me, because the most difficult thing, I think, in 20 years is like you're surrounded and passionate by people like you. So the most, I think, thing that is more dangerous, I would say, is to speak and think only about electronic music every day of your life. That's very dangerous, in my opinion, because you focus only on one thing, and everything is dedicated to that. So the main thing is to meet a lot of other people in any passion you can have, or try to create these meetings, try to create these passions. The fact of being sober in parties most of the time helped me to this, because in every party, most of all thanks ADM that came 5 or 10 years ago, we have like a lot of people interested by our good music, And so we have like sometimes mathematicians, sometimes philosophers, sometimes physicians or shaman or any kind of people that coming to the parties. So just have a drink with them and speak with them. It's actually much more, I say sometimes, I feel I want to be more elevated than high. And that's actually what's happening to me with these meetings.
One of the best ways to prevent psychological stress is to train your brain to stay present, which is all people are doing in meditation. But that's a brilliant way of doing it. And it's just the simplest breathing techniques that can just get you to stop your brain bouncing around like a bumblebee in a perspex box and just stay present, stay focused. Getting your mind present rather than the past or future is probably the single best solution to psychological stress.
I think a lot of other areas of the music industry, especially rock, have awareness around addiction and recovery in a way that dance music totally doesn't, which is bizarre considering that, like, we talk about hedonism here, and like a lot of people are partying constantly. And for some people that is awesome and it works really well and it's super fun, and for other people it becomes a monster.
It's probably one of the only jobs in the world where you're sort of expected to drink, at least, or like to have a party with the promoters or whatever. And when you turn up and you're like, no, it's okay, I'll just have a bottle of water, you can almost see like the disappointment on people's faces. Like, what, really? Like, you're not come here to rave? It's like, yeah, I come here to rave, just like, I can't get drunk because I've got shit to do tomorrow. Like, so I think that whole sort of stigma of like, everyone has to be like on it or drinking or whatever. Like, dude, if we did that like 3 times a week, it's hard. Like, people can't do that. You can't stay healthy, like physically and mentally. Well, some people can, but I definitely can't. So I think that whole stigma needs to be like lowered, or at least dropped.
I think speaking to that, like lowering the interpersonal expectations of constant partying being necessary to do business is helpful, and then also like creating either mental health or recovery resources that are kind of available and specific to the dance music community would be really helpful.
On the other side of mental health, I know there is substance addiction, but sometimes there is also work addiction. I think this is something that needs to be addressed quite a bit, and especially in agencies, that ensuring that your staff is not overworked, making sure there's support, because burnout is real, burnout is very serious. I've, for one, have nearly experienced a burnout years ago, and it definitely made me take a massive look at my life and take a step back to say, okay, you know, my health is worth it, you know, I am worth it, and to making just positive decisions and not taking on too much responsibility.
Changing the dialogue, which I think you are doing. You know, in the 1990s, it was cool to be off your face, you know. It was kind of, you know, I celebrated it, you know, and I did it very well. But it's not cool anymore, guys. And I think you need to do something to celebrate, you know, rather than having this kind of Kurt Cobain myth of the kind of crazy, nutty artist, I think you should be doing more to celebrate people, like there's a good friend in the audience, Louis Vega. He's a genius. In 25 years of knowing him, I've never seen him, and I've never seen him fall out of a party. So I think there's something about changing the dialogue. I think having this conversation is really important. Again, 20 years ago, if I told people that I was friends with that I was a psychologist, they're like, oh, God, you know, oh, you're weird, don't psychologize me. And it's almost this sense that somehow personal development is a sign of weakness. Whereas actually, you know, I work with CEOs in tech and business services where actually they need to be at their best, so they know they need to invest in their personal development. So I think as an industry, you need to start thinking that personal development is how to be at your best, not a sign of weakness.